Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football. Today, we're going to look at the Atlanta Falcon Weekly Report with Cornel Hardy and our producer and engineer, Logan Landers. Last week, the Falcons enjoyed a bye week, but guys, I'm not thinking it's a bye week like a normal bye week where you get 3 or 4 days off and you don't have to think about football for a while, especially with the administration, all the front office upstairs. There's a lot of correction that need to be made. I call it due diligence, where you just look at what you've done and whether you're predictable, what you have to do differently, and getting ready for what we'll call the second part of the season. Logan, I'll begin with you. What would you want to accomplish if you were a Falcon front office administrator, not the coaches, in terms of taking advantage of the bye week and improving the club, the performance, everything that you would need to do during that time off to make corrections before the second half of the season?
Yeah, if I'm in the front office for the Falcons right now, and this is a team who, let's not forget, they are in first place, but they have been struggling here as of late. It is worth noting that they should. I think if I was in the front office, if I had, the nice suit and pencil and whatnot to say, all right, this is what I want to do, I would say, let's see what we can get. Let's look around free agency. Maybe I know Cornell's mentioned that in the past. See if we can bring in some pass rushers, some guys who can help out the team as soon as they can. They might have been, looking around for that in this off week they've had. And also just making sure that everyone's still in line with their vision of just, making sure the coaches, making sure that they're in the right mindset, saying, hey, look, guys, we've hit a little bit of a rough patch here, but don't worry, stay the course. You are where you're at for a reason. You're in first place because this team believes in you, the city believes in you, and you're doing good work. So just keep what you're doing. And we know Arthur Blank is a very personable owner. We always see him out there at the games doing his thing. And I'm sure he's had some talks with the coaching staff, with the front office, and just said, hey, guys, look, I believe in this team, obviously. I think what we're doing right now is good work. Let's just keep our heads down and keep grinding and look at our next task here this upcoming week against LA with the Chargers.
Cornel, I'm asking the same question and very specifically asking from the front office perspective. So that's general manager, whether it's Rich McKay or Arthur himself, because we'll get to the coaches and players in a little bit. But what if you were an owner of the team, or if you were a front office personnel, how do you take advantage of the bye week rather than having it take advantage of you?
Well, pretty much the first thing I would do is I was to sit down and have a meeting with the head coach, Raheem Morris, and just sit down and just have a brief conversation as far as doing a temperature check of the team, his mindset, how he feels about what's going on in the first half of the season, and the changes that basically that he feels that he'll have to make, because the fact of the matter is that he's the leader of the team, he's the head coach of the team, and basically the main thing is that what do we have to do to get over the hump right now. And then after we have that conversation, pretty much it's like, what is your plan of action, Raheem? What are we going to do? And basically, if listening to his plan of his action, as maybe the president of the organization, whatever, I give my suggestions as far as, but at the same time, I'm still going to hold him accountable as far as his plan of action and what he wants to do. But the main thing is just basically going back to fundamentals and making sure that everybody's been held accountable. And at the same time, if let's say, take for instance, the defensive coordinator. Hey, I'm the owner, or I'm the vice president, or whatsoever. Hey, this is what we feel about your defensive coordinator. How do you feel about it? You're ranked right now at this particular point. You're ranked here. You don't have that many sacks. So what's your plan of action as far as the execution and getting that taken care of? Because we would like to know. Because we want to know. Because we don't want to step in. We made you the head coach, but we want to know, what is your plan of action? So basically, the meeting will just simply be, what is his plan of action to get over the hump, and how are we going to continue to start back winning games right now?
Well, I love it. Now, here's one of the portions of the thing. Well, we're still in first place.
Yeah.
Good, right? We got a lead over Tampa. They're 5-6. Got 4-7 New Orleans, and then obviously trailing the pack in the division are the Carolina Panthers at 3-8. So the most important thing is to win your division, right? That's the goal number one. Obviously, you want to win the Super Bowl, but if you win your division, that's the step that needs to take place so that you can get there. You get a home game advantage for the first round of the playoffs at least. So without getting too deep into the weeds, We are 6-4, but we do have an 800-pound elephant in the room. And Cornel, you just mentioned that with things that are happening defensively. More specifically now, as a fan, what do we have to look forward to, and what are some of the challenges that we look forward to hopefully correcting here in the second half of the season? Cornel, start with you.
I feel the main thing is that seeing improvement on the defense, starting by game by game, starting with the Chargers, seeing a little bit more improvement by the defense, more sacks, more aggressiveness from the linebackers. Like we talked about it last week about the number two and the third and fourth top tacklers is our DBs with 54 tackles together, and Caden Ellis was number one. I think Caden Ellis had 72. So the main thing is that from a fan standpoint, the fans seeing the more aggressiveness on the defense, seeing more attacks on the quarterback with sacks, and also coverage as far as the secondary, more interceptions, mainly as that. And so that's something that can be executed quick, fast, in a hurry if you have the right players in place. And let's not talk about injuries as well. So people that had extra week of healing as well. So that's the main thing as far as the fans want to see improvement on the defense. And also, too, from the offensive standpoint, too, it's the same way as well.
Before I get to Logan, Cornel, let me follow up with that. Defensively, do you think we need to blitz more, or we think we need to at least put a different type of pressure than what we've been doing here in the first 10 games to 11 games of the season?
I think we need to do a little bit more exotic blitzes. I think we need to do a little more pass coverage, like from a nickel and a dime package, depending upon what type of offensive scheme that we're going against during the game. I feel that even from being at the New Orleans Saints game, we was playing too far off of those wide receivers. I think we can do a little bump and run, a little man to man, a little bit. If we trust AJ Terrell and if we trust our defensive backs, why do we got to be 5 to 10 yards off and they doing quick slants on us all day long? So I mean, a little bit, a couple of different schemes and stuff. The 3-4s, the 4-3s. You know what I'm saying? Just more exotic blitzes coming from all over the places and stuff. If we do not have a strong defensive end bookends to pressure the quarterback, then we got to send somebody else. We got to send a linebacker. And let's think about it. I'm going way back when the Green Bay Packers, when they had somebody by the name of Leroy Butler. Leroy Butler was always going there and going after the quarterback. So therefore, you put the free safety on the island by himself. And with Jesse Bates, I think Jesse Bates can hold his own back there in the back.
Yeah, Leroy was a guy, when I was with the Packers in training camp, I'll tell you one thing, that guy, the closer he got to the line of scrimmage, the more worried you'd see a quarterback on the other side of the field he would get. That guy, because you didn't know if he was coming or not. If he was coming, he could rush like a linebacker or a defensive end. Now, not like Reggie, but the pressure that he put on and the speed that he was able to bring, phenomenal. Logan, from a fan's perspective, what do you expect to come out here now after the bye week? We're 11 games into the season. We've only got 6 or 7 games left. So what do you think?
Yeah, well, to Cornel's credit, I think the main issue is still the pass rush or the lack thereof for that reason, and just not getting enough pressure on the quarterback in terms of just QB pressures, but also sacks. We struggle in that department. But another factor, too, I want to see this team improve on is hopefully they took some time this bye week to maybe break out of their offensive slump. And granted, it's not a major slump by any means necessary, but the last 2 games, the Falcons have struggled to generate points. You only put up 6 points against Denver, and you put up only 17 against the Saints. In all those Falcons losses this year, they've not put up over 20 points. So they have to hit over that, which they average, I believe, 22.1 points per game. So you have to get that if to make sure, all right, we're in contention to get a win here. That's just, all right, let's look at the playbook, see what's been working for us, what has, maybe get some different players out there, get some subs in there. But another aspect too that we don't talk about a whole lot here, but is a crucial part that we've seen in some of these Falcons games, and that's the kicking game. Younghoe Kuzma a little bit off this year compared to years past. Hasn't been as accurate. He's only knocked down 73% of his kicks this year, 19 to 26. Usually he's been money in years past, and he is facing his former team in the Chargers, who he played a couple games for back in, I believe, 2017. So he's got that kind of personal vendetta against them, right? So you say, all right, look, we know you've had some rough kicks here and there, but maybe some, you go up against your old team, get things right, and we can get some smooth sailing for the rest of the year. But like I said, the main concern is the defense for me personally. But I think, if you break out of the offense to some, and if you go to your kicking game, say Young Way, look, we know you're great. You've done some amazing work for Atlanta over the years. We know you go through some slumps here and there, but I think you can bust out of it here against your old team and be flying high.
Interesting point there. Obviously, special teams every team needs to play significantly better. The new kickoff, I'd love for the Falcons to be able to get better returns out of that. But until they get that all figured out, Young Way, especially with the Saints a couple weeks ago, really struggled. They had 2 misses. We only end up losing by 3. We could have at least tied the game or, possibly won it with that. But, Cornel, I want to ask you, from an offensive perspective, Logan just mentioned something about the passing game and all that kind of stuff. Here's where I've got a challenge. If I'm Zach Robinson, we've got a certain amount of plays that have worked all throughout the season, and they're good. And our passing game is all right. But do I continue to call those knowing that we know they're good and our opponents may expect it and we may not get the same results? Or do you have to develop a bunch of other new plays? Well, not necessarily brand new, but ones that you haven't used as much, either from training camp or early in the season, and try to keep people on their toes defensively who are playing against the Falcons. What's your thoughts in terms of how you open up the playbook or modify it a little bit in order to be able to enhance the second portion of your season?
I think the main thing is we always have been successful with the play action, but we have not been successful as for establishing the run. We got to get the run established, and there may be a situation where certain plays where we had Bijan Robinson in, maybe we got to put Algier in, maybe we got to put that north south back in so that we can establish the run, and then once we establish the run, we can go ahead and start the play action game. But also, too, we got to get everybody involved. And what I mean by that is, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? Kadero Hodge has helped us out a lot as far as winning the games, too. And also Mooney. So, therefore, we already know that they're going to probably watch some film tape on Mooney and Drake London. But also, too, we got some other wide receivers that's pretty good as well. And you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that Kirk Cousins need to nickel and dime with whoever that we got. If somebody's open, just throw it to them and stuff. But we got to get Kyle Pitts the ball a little bit more and establish the run. We got to establish the run first. And it's going to require Algier and it's going to require Bijan Robinson. We know that Bijan Robinson has had success, but at the same time, we know what Tyler Algier can do as well. And so basically my main thing is that, change the plays up a little bit. Nickel and dime them, but at the same time, use your players according to their strengths and use everybody that you have. If somebody's on the bench, we know that he's hot, keep him in the game. Let's keep on going.
Well, Logan, great point there. And I'm very interested in how we get Kyle Pitts the ball more, but then do we exclude Ray? Does Darnell get fewer catches? Do you have fewer runs with Bijan if you give it to Algier? How do you have to play with 4 footballs in some aspects? I'm saying that teasingly because you got a bunch of guys that are very, very talented on this team, and you almost want to see, no matter who you mention, there'll be somebody that, then he's going to get the ball less. How do you split that? How do you split the baby and keep everybody happy?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Falcons have a lot of skilled position players. At the running back room, obviously, we know Bijan Robinson, former first-round pick, who's done some good work this year. Algier is a very credible, solid backup with him as well. Both those guys, if they get going, then, like I said, feed the hot hand. But in terms of getting the ball to your best receivers, and Darnell Mooney's done great work with Atlanta. I think he's exceeded expectations when we picked him up. Personally, I think so. But like you said, everyone looks at the main 2 being Drake London, who's had a better year compared to years past, leads the team in touchdowns with 6, a second on team just by 1 yard in terms of yards this season. But Kyle Pitts is always the one guy everyone looks at and says, look, he's the unicorn, right? He's the hybrid tight end, wide receiver combo in a way that when he gets rolling, it's hard to stop. I don't know if for him the strength will be for Kirk to maybe get some longer routes, see if he can get open more, or maybe just get some nice, quick, short passes to get it established And once you get it to, to Kyle, then that opens it up, say, all right, look, we have to guard him now. All right, look, now Darnell Mooney's got some open slots. Drake London's looking good. And also Ray McCloud, who you mentioned, he can get some work in as well. And also, let's not forget, Bijan can also get some work done in the passing game as well, in the backfield. He's also very credible and a really good player in that as well. So I think it's more so not just zoning in on really two players being Mooney and London, who are your top receivers in terms of yardage this year, but it's just making sure, look, maybe we just have to change some looks up. Maybe we have to run some different routes on some players. Maybe instead of doing a go route, you can run some slants, you can run some curls, and just kind of get some different looks for guys to just open up the passing game and, start sharing the love a little bit. Like I said, there's only one ball on the field. You can't have multiple because we know if this Falcons game, there's multiple footballs on the field. They'd be thrown to a lot of targets. But I think just kind of to establishing, all right, look, if you have a favorite receiver that you're looking for one game, okay, that's great. But just know that they are going to hone in on him. But that should open up the passing game for the other talented receivers this team has.
Well, I stole that line from Richie Kotite when I was in Philadelphia. He's looking around the offensive room, and you got Randall Cunningham, you got Keith Jackson, you got Keith Byers, you had Mike Quick, and Fast Freddie Barnett, a couple others that were out there. He goes, Randall, you're going to need 4 footballs because everybody out here is going to want to catch the ball from you, and we can't do it that way. But it makes you wonder how you keep everybody happy in a room where all the guys on the roster go, hey, give it to me, and I'm going to be able to do something with you. But the idea that I have in terms of, making this happen, Cornel, it all depends on the offensive line, doesn't it? Where if they don't give your quarterback time to throw, it doesn't matter who you've got on your roster. If nobody's open or if they haven't broken free yet and you're going to get sacked, that's an issue. What do we need to change in the offensive line in your impression right now? Just an overall perspective of where we can make some improvement there.
Also, chiming in on that, think about this. You got to watch the film footage of your next opposing team. Right now, we are 0-2 against the AFC West. We lost against the Broncos. We lost against the Chiefs. And now we're going against the Chargers. Chargers are number one ranked defense in the NFL. But think about this. They are number one in run defense right now. They are number one in run defense. So the key thing for the offensive line, they're going to have to not only pass protect, but they got to establish holes for the run. And I think what they call it next level blocking, where they block and then they go next to the linebackers or whatsoever, the next level blocking. So the key thing is that everybody executing as far as allowing our running backs to open the holes, allowing running backs to get there. Also next level blocking for the offense to execute as well.
Yeah, there's some. You want to mention the Chargers? Let's look at some of the numbers that they have right now. That's our next opponent. Chargers offensively average 204 yards per game, passing wise. So Justin Herbert is 20th in the league right now in that department. They average 118 yards on the ground, so they can still bring it on the ground. They're 13th in the league right there. They only average 22 points a ball game. Oddly enough, the same amount that the Falcons do. There's a slight percentage difference, but they're 18th in the league at 22.8%, and we're at 22.8 points, and we're 16th in the league with 22.4. But their defense, you just mentioned, Cornel, number one in the league against in terms of scoring. It's most difficult. And they gave up 30 points in the Harbaugh Bowl last week. So the number would even be more impressive, but it's at 15 a game. The Falcons only average 22. That spells trouble for me in terms of our offense against their defense. You mentioned, Cornel, their rushing defense is fantastic. So does that mean that we're going to get another game with only about 50 yards on the ground?
I hope not. I hope not. So, basically, hopefully this past week they've been working on establishing the run more, the pass protection, also the run protection is, opening the holes up for the run. But also think about this too, is that the main thing is that everybody's executing together and everybody's working together, as one unit and getting things done. And, I think we talked about it last week before. Where's the leader? You know what I'm saying? If somebody's screwing up, get in their case right then and there and fix it right then and there, because we don't have time, to make any mistakes on that line. I remember when I used to play back in the day, I used to play, and I used to play quarterback a little bit. So at the same time, you know what I'm saying, if somebody's not blocking for me or somebody's screwing up, I will go right to the coach, get them out of there. I'm not happy. Get them out of there. There's no way that somebody opening up the gates of hell and I'm taking a hit. No, get them out of there right then and there. And we just got to do that. We just have to do that. If we paying these guys millions of dollars to do their job. Like Belichick said, do your job. We paying you millions of dollars to do your job, and you got Sunday to do your job. And the cameras don't lie, and the stats don't lie. It's simple as that.
Here's a stat. Derrick Henry had 140 yards rushing on Monday night on 24 carries. He was averaging 5.8 per carry. Now, he didn't get in the end zone, but Justice Hill had 55 also additional yards on 4 carries. He averaged 13.8. Lamar Jackson had 15 additional yards. They had 212 yards. Logan, I'm watching that film going, I'm licking my chops now because I'm seeing how the Ravens were able to get up to the next level. They not only blocked the defensive line, but they were getting the linebackers. And next thing you know, Derrick Henry is turning a 4 or 5 yarder into 7 or 8 yards. I got to feel pretty good about that in terms of watching the Ravens and their number 1 ranked rushing offense. In trying to steal a few things that you see visually against the same defense without any injuries that I'm aware of right now coming into Atlanta. So your thoughts here on what you've seen on film from the Ravens?
Yeah, if I'm the Falcons front office, coaching personnel, players, et cetera, I am feeling a little bit better about running the football because before the Monday night game, this team was dominant against the rush or against the rushing attack. Like you said, they're still a really good team in that, but we know the Ravens just have absolute monsters with, I know Lamar didn't have a good game in terms of rushing, but he's always a threat. And Derrick Henry is just, I don't know, he's just had a really good kind of bounce back year after he's kind of, rode off out there in Tennessee, but he's been great this year. But I think that, the Falcons, they're feeling really good. I'm sure that they are taking a really deep dive at that Ravens tape and saying, okay, hey, look, maybe the stretch plays look better than the inside runs, or maybe if we do some toss plays, maybe if we can bounce it outside with Bijan, because we know once he gets running, guys, it's hard to stop him. He's got that shiftiness. He's got some good juke moves, spin moves. So I'm sure that they're looking at a bunch of different concepts that maybe might have worked for Baltimore that they can work on, they can tweak and say, all right, maybe if we add some more of this element to our game, to our rushing attack with Algier and with Bijan, that can really help us out and also set up the passing game as well, and that could just open up more and more possibilities.
But think about this.
Go ahead, Cornel.
Think about this. Okay, we talked about Derrick Henry, we talked about the Baltimore offense. But at the same time, when they look at that film tape again with Baltimore before that game, I'm pretty sure they see Lamar Jackson scramble all over the place, and they also see Derrick Henry do his job. But at the same time, when they look at the Falcon tape, they'll see Bijan Robinson doing what he's doing, Tyler Algier doing what he's doing, but they'll see Kirk Cousins standing, not scrambling. So therefore, if I'm a defensive coordinator for the Chargers and stuff, am I gonna create a package to stop Kirk Cousins from scrambling? Or I'm just going to create one package to stop Bijan Robinson and stop Tyler Algier. Because the thing is, Baltimore offense is more dynamic than Atlanta Falcons offense when it comes to running and scrambling the ball, because you have to worry about the quarterback and you got to worry about the running backs. But as for the Atlanta Falcons, you just technically really got to worry about Kirk Cousins throwing that ball, and you got to worry about Bijan and Tyler Algier running the ball.
Yep, completely agree. Our quarterback is one-dimensional, unlike Lamar or probably 4 or 5 others that are run and pass option quarterbacks. That obviously is part of the game now that we don't get to participate in. But Kirk's numbers are still pretty good for the season. We were looking at the Falcon numbers. Let's compare with the rest of the division, if you don't mind. In yards per game, Atlanta's number 8 overall in the league. I was impressed with this. So this is running and obviously passing. We have 361.5 yards per game is what we average. But you know what? We're still not the number 1 in our division. Tampa is slightly ahead of us at 369. New Orleans is at 347. They rank number 11. So 3 of the 4 teams in the division are in that top 10 tier. They could one game or another, they'll move just a little bit and supplant each other. But pretty impressed with that. More importantly, though, is points per game. Tampa's fourth in the league right now, averaging 28.1 points per game. New Orleans is second in the division. They're number 11 overall at 23.8. Atlanta is 17th in the league with 22.2, and obviously 18th are the LA Chargers at 22.2 as well. They're just a slight difference from one another. And Carolina is 29th in the league at 17.6. So just from hey, who's also in our rearview mirror closely behind in terms of offense, both New Orleans and Tampa are playing well offensively, and Tampa, of course, is scoring a lot more, even more than we are right now. Is that of concern to either of you?
I would say for the moment, I would be a little bit concerned because we've seen that Tampa, look, if they get hot, it's hard to stop them. Baker Mayfield, we know how good of a player he is and what he's able to do. And like I said, the offense they can create. And to be honest, New Orleans, since they made that head coaching change, they haven't set the world on fire by any means, but they've looked a lot better than what we saw, earlier in the season. So, I'm not, sweating bullets right now, but I am starting to take a little bit more of a peek back and say, okay, look, right now we've kind of went stagnant. We went down a little bit. These teams behind us, they're starting to heat up some. I'm not full on panic mode yet, but I am starting to take a little bit more of a closer look. Like you said, at both New Orleans as well as Tampa. Carolina had a good showing, but they're still just not there quite yet. Maybe next year, the year after.
Cornel, how about you?
As far as hitting the panic button, not quite yet. Like Logan said, but at the same time, I can give you it was a scene that one of my favorite movies was called Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey, and he was talking to the girl. He said, "So you mean there is a chance?" That's how I feel like Tampa Bay is right now, because there is a chance. And Baker Mayfield, he's hot and cold, but he's got that excitement. He got the team. He got the team going, and everybody's like they're playing like on all cylinders right now. Prime example, they played against the Giants and everything. So the thing is that a team that I would not want to touch right now, if it came to be coming into the playoffs right now, would be Tampa. But also, too, I don't want to be at a situation where we at a point where it's the last game of the season. Everybody remembers when the Carolina Panthers that year they went to the Super Bowl. Who beat them? The Falcons at the end. I don't want to be at a point to where Carolina beats us the last game of the season. Now we're going into the playoffs, so therefore we don't lost that momentum. So my main thing is that I'm not necessarily hitting the panic button right now, but I'm scared of Tampa Bay right now.
Well, we're going to have some common opponents later on in the year, the Chargers and the Raiders for us in the AFC. That's obviously the division that we'll be playing. Those are AFC opponents. We have the Vikings, the Giants, the Commanders, and then the Panthers at the end of the year, as you mentioned, Cornel. We beat the Chargers. I know Minnesota's defense is amazing this year. The Raiders and the Giants are two winnable ball games. The Commanders, still don't know yet what we're going to get from them. They were hot as could be. They've kind of cooled off with the Dallas loss that they incurred here on Sunday. And then, as you mentioned, Carolina on paper, should be an easy win. So I'm not panicking either. Like I said, we're first place. No reason for us to panic. But there are some important things that we need to do to get back and to maintain a number one status in the division. If you don't mind, let me look at the defensive stats real quick. Sorry about that. I wrote a little bit too small. We're 25th in the league in terms of yards that we give up per game at 357. Remember, we get 361, but we give up 351. Tampa, Carolina, and New Orleans are all in the lower end tier of the league at 29, 30, and 31, respectively. We're at 25th. So I guess that's being the skinny kid at fat camp, right? That's not really saying a whole lot, but we're doing okay. In terms of points per game, Carolina is worst in the league right now. They give up 30.9. Atlanta is 21st at 24.9. Tampa is 24.8. They're 20th. They're right next to us. In New Orleans, oddly enough, their defense, they only give up 23 points. They're 16th in the league. So a little bit below average is where we are. And we talked about this at the offset. What do we need to do to get better? We got to rush the passer better. We got to get to the quarterback. We need to play some better corner coverage do some things like that. We've had a week to do that. Where are your thoughts right now defensively? So, Logan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, defensively, like we've said for pretty much the whole season, the main concern for this team is who is going to step up on whether it be the defensive line or the linebacking core in terms of who's going to get pressure on the quarterback. Whenever the season started, they picked up Matthew Judon. We all thought he was going to be, the knight in shining armor, saying, all right, look, we know what he's done in the past. We know what kind of a player he is. This is going to be the guy who's going to create pressure for us. And quite frankly, that's just not came to fruition quite yet. Hopefully that we still have some time to get that worked out, but that still is just not the case at the moment. But for me, like I said, if you get pressure on the quarterback, that opens up more and more ways for you to get turnovers. Obviously, you can get strip sacks. You can lead to bad throws from the quarterback and get some interceptions because we know that the Falcons have really talented players at both the corner as well as in the safety slot. So if you can force some erratic throws from Justin Herbert this upcoming week, and also, too, the Chargers have issues in terms of dropping passes. It was well documented with Quentin Johnson and their loss against the Ravens. He dropped a few passes. So, the Falcons just need to take advantage defensively on missed opportunities on the offensive side for Los Angeles. And I think that if you create pressure, that's just going to make things a whole lot easier for them this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. I feel the same as well. Pressuring on the quarterback. However, at the same time, their premier running back J.K. Dobbins is hurt.
Correct.
Their tight end is hurt. Hayden Hurst is hurt. Got a hip injury. He's not going to play. So the thing is that okay. So basically, as far as from a defensive standpoint, we got to put pressure on the quarterback. Some of the key players that Herbert had, they're not there. But the thing about it is that when I talked about exotic blitzes and exotic schemes, but at the same time, who is going to cover Ladd McConkey? He has 698 total yards right now. He has 4 TDs. He is all over the place. A UJ Bulldog, a dang good dog, but he's out there handling business right now. And who is going to cover? That's why I talked about a nickel package or something like that, because the thing is, Ladd McConkey is you don't see him on the field. The thing is that if you look at the game or whatsoever, pass to Ladd McConkey. Where the hell he come from? So it's like he's all over the place. It's like he's playing with the Bulldogs again. So who is going to cover him? If y'all going to go to a nickel or a cover 2, whatever that y'all going to do, you got to have an answer for Ladd McConkey this game.
Yeah, he's one of those guys like Julian Edelman or a third down specialist that comes in and says, you know what, you can't cover me. I'm going to find a way to get open. I'm going to get you that first down. And then I'll go sit on the bench for two or three plays. I'll come back in. You'll see me again. You'll see me. I'll be back here because I'm just going to give you everything I have. And we're going to keep the sticks moving. That's what he does well. Well, injuries have been a part of the defensive line a little bit, obviously with Grady coming back from knee surgery, obviously, and wondering it usually takes 9 months to a year for you to get right back up to full speed. That's about when this occurred last year. So hopefully Grady and his recovery, but Rook Arohoro, he's been on the IR. Taquan Graham has been on the IR. Zach Harrison has been questionable. So I'm thinking that our front three in the 3-4 defense has been thin. I'd love to see Brandon Dorius from Oregon, rookie, get in there and make some moves and either stop a run or move the quarterback to the point where others can take advantage of that. Contavious Street, Eddie Goldman, or other guys that love for them to be able to step up, and they get their reps. But for those guys to actually compete and move the quarterback from his spot, the Falcons have struggled with that all week. So hopefully we'll get some of these things take advantage of in last week's bye week, and now it's time to go to work again and get ready for the Chargers. So final thoughts. Let's start with you, Cornel, before we play the Chargers. We entertain from a team that has just played a Monday night game. You've got Thanksgiving. You've got a long trip. I think the Falcons have a little bit of an advantage being the home team here for this game against the Chargers.
Definitely the Falcons got an advantage. The main thing is that continue to execute, hold people accountable, and the main thing is that make sure the offensive line is protecting the quarterback from a passing play, but also too going to the next level blocking as far as opening the holes for the running game. We start the running game, we solidify the running game, we can go to play action, and that's what Kirk Cousins is successful at. But one key thing from an offensive standpoint is we are ranked number 20th in third down conversion. We had 37% in third down conversions. So it doesn't matter what we do on the first and second play, but when we get to third down, we had 37% as far as conversion. We got to be more successful in third down, and also also special teams making field goal points or whatever. But the main thing is, like I said, the defense got to step up. We got to have an answer for Lad McConkey, and we also got to get to the quarterback. Simple as that, and we'll win the game.
Logan, is that all we need to do?
It should be that simple. I wish it was, but I think that, this is the Falcons' game to lose in a sense because, like you said, it's coming off a bye week. You get to spend some time with the family on Thanksgiving. Think about the Chargers. Like I said, they played on Monday, and they're having to travel all the way from California down south to Georgia. So that is a long flight. So just trying to look at some of the other factors in this game for this team. But like I said, the Chargers are banged up on offense. Like Cornel said, J.K. Dobbins, he's going to miss some time. So that is, another factor of their game that they're going to have to figure out how they can work around that. So expect a lot of Justin Herbert. Expect a lot of Lad McConkey because, they're going to want to feed him the ball going up against a team that he watched, I'm sure, when he was in Athens at UGA. So I expect a heavy dose of him. And for the Falcons, Harper, to your previous point, talking about the injuries. I mean, let's not forget they drafted Braylon Trice out of Washington. He got hurt in the preseason. He was supposed to be the guy to be kind of next man up in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback. So they've kind of been playing catch up all season, just in terms of injuries they've had on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that if Judon, if Grady, if they can have some good games, it just, like I said, if you create pressure, it makes things so much easier on this team. And, Kirk Cousins, I think he'll have a nice performance. Like I said, just spread the love, spread the ball out to your very talented receivers. And like I said, I'm hoping that the rough game that the Chargers had against Baltimore in terms of the running performance, and look, we know Baltimore's got the best running attack in the league right now, them in Philadelphia, but Atlanta, we know, has the two-headed monster with Robinson and Algier. So if you can maybe just find some gaps and get the running game going, that opens up the passing game. And look, we paid Kirk Cousins a lot of money to get the passing game going. He's looked good so far this year, but I think that if the Falcons want to get this win, it's going to be a team effort, get back on the right track, and keep solidifying your spot in first place.
If I can add my 2 cents, start early. Get off to a fast start, because a team that just played with one shorter day to prep because of the holidays with Thanksgiving, because of the trip over, because of the time change.
That's true.
Every team that we used to play when I was with the Falcons that would come from the West Coast, it almost as if they needed to warm up a little bit. Now, get ready for the second half because they'll be fully awake, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning in their time clock when the game starts here in Atlanta. So if we get off to a big, quick start, I think that's one thing to help take advantage and take some of the pressure off both the offense, defense, and special teams, because you're playing well, all three of them. You're going to get some points. You might get a turnover or two, and you give yourself an advantage. So that's just one of many. There's with the line that you gave, Cornel, from Dumb and Dumber, mine would be from a Seinfeld episode where Jerry's on a plane and a stewardess comes up and says, "More of anything?" He goes, "More of everything." So we could do a little bit on offense, defense, and special teams. But again, we're in first place. We're not going to complain right now because we've got the advantage over everybody else in the division. Before we go, Cornel, I want you to give a quick little shout out here. D&K Super Suits, I'm telling you right now, Suit City is where I would want to go if I'm looking for some holiday gear to make me look. Now, it's hard to make me look better because I just physically it's impossible to do. But if I dress better, how could you help us out with that?
I tell you what, before I talk about D&K, can I say something right quick about what we talked about the Falcons game right quick?
Please do. Go right ahead.
What also too, what I'm kind of panicking and scared of too is the coaching staff that Chargers have. We know that Jim Harbaugh is the head coach. We know that Jesse Mitchell was a coach at Georgia State. His father was a linebacker coach from the national championship Michigan Wolverines, but also he was a coach from 1999 to 2003. I'm correct, from the University of Cincinnati. But what's kind of interesting is Harbaugh got Navarro Bowman, that was his linebacker at the 49ers, who is his linebacker coach there. But also, too, he has Greg Roman, that was his offensive coordinator for the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl. But something that's more interesting to me is the senior offensive analyst, assistant coach, is Mark Trestman. Mark Trestman was the offensive coordinator for the Raiders in 2002 when they went to the Super Bowl, who made Rich Gannon the MVP. Rich Gannon MVP at the MVP season with the Raiders, and we know that was the Tuck Bowl with Tom Brady. But at the same time, too, Harbaugh was the quarterback coach for the Raiders. Quarterback coach was for the Raiders at that time. So Harbaugh has people that has helped him get to that level, and he had made them senior analysts and senior defensive assistants in his organization that can help the young guys that are offensive and defensive coordinators, help them reach the next level. So therefore, like we talk about, these guys has been in the league, like Trestman been in the league for over 36 years. So you think he's not going to have them players ready to play? I'm pretty sure, that wisdom goes a long way. So I just want to talk about that. But back to the DNK, basically right now, we got Black Friday going on this coming Friday. And as I said before, if you text SAVE to 87573, you get all of the information as far as what we got going on as far at DNK Sioux City. Like today, we did a flash sale today. So those that text this number right here, they got the message. So right now, everything all the suits in the store is buy one, get one free today. And this coming Black Friday, we do have selected suits that's going to be buy one, get one free. But the entire store is buy one, get one half off. And we're doing that right now. So if you buy a polo shirt, you get the other polo shirt half off. So that's a couple of things that we're doing right now here at DNK Sioux City. And Desmond Howard, if you're listening right now, give me a call. I got you.
Yeah. Desmond needs to look good for the next game day.
Oh yeah, he's ready.
He's always ready. Now your model right there has got a bow tie. Are bow ties coming back?
Oh yeah. I mean, usually around by this time, everybody have their Christmas parties and they have their galas and their balls right now. Like here in Clayton County, the sheriff got a ball going on right now. So basically, they come in looking for the velvet jacket with the satin pants and the teardrop bow tie. For their galas right now going on. So basically, they want to look stylish or whatsoever. So we have those things. We have those things in here as well.
Well, how about a Dumb and Dumber light blue and orange tuxedo for Lloyd and the boys? Hopefully, you don't have those ready to go right now. We'd have to special order them.
Yeah, special order.
Okay. All
right. Special order, they go to Joanne Fabrics, get the fabric, and we got a personal alteration that can make the suit.
There we go.
Yeah.
If you've got a special need, they'll help take care of it for you at D&K Suit City. Tell them Cornel sent you, and you'll get the orange or the light blue tuxedo. It'll be waiting for you for your next shindig that you have going on.
Exactly.
All right, last words, Cornel. Let's start with you. Falcons need to do what to get a victory against the LA Chargers on Sunday at the Mercedes-Benz Dome?
I give a simple situation that happened a long time ago with the Boston Celtics when they went to Larry Bird and when they lost against, I think it was the Lakers that game, and they lost the championship to the Lakers, and they asked Larry Bird what he need. Larry Bird said he need 11 heart transplants. Simple as that. Everybody need to play with heart. Everybody need to play aggressive, and they need to get to the quarterback, establish the run, and let's win this game. Because hey, we're in the next half of the season, and how we perform goes a long way. And to give y'all hope, the New York Giants was 8-8 when they won the Super Bowl. Remember that.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep. Logan, the Falcons need to do blank in order to come away with the win on Sunday.
Keep some of that hunger even after Thanksgiving. And I say that because you got to come out hot. You got to come out, like you said, Harper. If you come out quick in the first quarter, put some points on the board. If you can get ahead early, it's going to be a lot harder for LA to catch up. So I think if you come out hot, if you come out, like I said, you got the home crowd behind you. Everyone's going to have their family in town. It's going to be a good feeling in Atlanta. So you got the home crowd helping you out. I think that if the Falcons come out the gates hot, I think that they'll look good this upcoming Sunday.
Well, speaking of home and hot, Logan, I think I know your answer unless you're going to change it. What's the one thing you have to have on Thursday, Thanksgiving dinner, and in order for you to go, it couldn't be any better than this?
Ooh.
Give me your answer. I think I know what it is, but did it change at all, or is it still going to be?
I will say, Harper, my go-to dish on Thanksgiving, and look, I know the main dishes, right? The ham, the turkey, that's all fine. But for me, we got some crock pot mac and cheese at the house. That's my go-to. That's what I go for. It's hot, it's bubbling, just like this Falcons offense this upcoming Sunday.
Little mac and a little bit of cheese. Got to have
it.
both. Cornel, what do you have to have in order for Thanksgiving to be checkmarked off and you got what you need?
I hate to say this. I'm going from a dessert dish.
Okay.
We always get from this company called Sister Cakes. It's a banana pudding cheesecake.
Ooh. A twist on a Southern delicacy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you won't eat as much just so you can save room for the dessert.
Cheesecake,
banana pudding cheesecake. And I make sure I take the whole dish home with me. I don't even tell everybody I have like 3 little small cups in there. I was like, that's all we got left.
Yep.
Y'all can go.
Now, do you get the joy of actually bringing this if you're going to go somewhere else? Do you bring it with you?
Oh no, I don't bring it. I just bring in my bowl.
Okay. All right.
But as far as anything, I'm kind of different, man. Everybody has turkey, everybody has chicken, man. I gotta have me a slab of ribs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, you're giving thanks any way you can. Now, does a scoop of ice cream or maybe some whipped cream go with the cheesecake? Do you have a way that you've modified it to make it even better?
Oh yeah, whipped cream layer on the top with the little wafers sprinkled over on the top of it, with the vanilla wafers and the yeah.
Oh man, with the banana pudding. Oh, so graham crackers and hey, you're going to get all the calories you could have just from one piece of that.
Oh, yeah.
But there's never any extra because you bring it all home with you, don't you?
Nah, I be sleep.
Yeah. He's knocked out by about 3:00.
Yeah, knocked out.
Well, we got 3 NFL games on Thursday. We've got a college game on Thursday, a whole croaker sack full of college games on Friday, 1 NFL game. That'll be the Raiders and the Chiefs playing in Arrowhead. And then Saturday is rivalry week. I can say that 3 times real fast. And then Sunday, of course, the NFL action, including the Falcons at home against the LA Chargers. So a busy week of football and, even more importantly, a busy week of Thanksgiving. So for Cornel Hardy, we want to say thanks for being a part of the show. Have a great reason to give thanks for family, friends, and for business and everything else. And thank you for giving us the banana pudding cheesecake recipe, because that, to me, will be added on. And for Logan Landers, our producer, Logan, you and the mac and cheese and stuffing will be abounding plenty for you. And thank you for all that you do for the show, and for Vincent Turner, who's not able to be with us today. Vincent, we wish you and your family well. So thank you so much for being a part of another episode of 100 Yards of Football. This is the Atlanta Falcon Weekly Report. We thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to all.
Go Birds.